It all began on a Tuesday. The kind of Tuesday where the air smells suspiciously like trouble. Goldie Karen, tall, toned, with hair so perfectly wavy it looked like it was auditioning for a shampoo commercial, strutted into the local cafe. She wasn't there for coffee. Oh no. Karen was there for justice. "Excuse me," she began, leaning on the counter like a detective about to interrogate a suspect. "Did you just give me skim milk?" The barista, a teenager whose biggest crime until now was spelling latte wrong on the chalkboard, blinked. Yes?" Karen gasped as if he had just confessed to stealing the crown jewels. "Do I look like someone who drinks skim milk?" she demanded, pointing at herself like she was a walking milk advertisement. "I have bones to protect, calcium to maintain, and you," she jabbed her finger at his apron, "are trying to rob me of that." The cafe went silent. Phones were discreetly lifted. Somewhere, a latte steamed in nervous solidarity. Now, to understand Karen's fury, you need to know one thing. In her mind, every small mishap was an epic battle. A wrong milk order wasn't a mistake. It was an act of war. "Ma'am, I can just remake it," the barista tried. But Karen was already on a roll. "Remake it? Oh no, this is bigger than coffee. This is about principles. It's about a society where people respect the milk choices of others." She dramatically turned to the growing audience. "Who's with me?" A middle-aged man with earbuds half nodded in confusion. Someone clapped without knowing why. A tourist whispered, "Is this performance art?" Within minutes, Karen had transformed the cafe into a courtroom of public opinion. Her voice, sharp and theatrical, narrated her suffering in vivid detail. First it's milk, tomorrow it's decaf without consent, and then society collapses. She even gave a closing statement, pointing at the barista like a lawyer on a Netflix true crime docuseries. "Remember this face, for today I am the voice of the undermilked." And with that, she snatched her remade coffee, full fat, obviously, and walked out like a hero leaving a battlefield, chin high, coat swishing dramatically. But what Karen didn't realize was that someone had caught the entire scene on video. And by the next morning, Goldie Karen's latte monologue had gone viral. The internet had spoken. Goldie Karen wasn't just a customer. She was public enemy number one. By sunrise, Goldie Karen's face was everywhere. Not just on Facebook groups where suburban moms post inspirational quotes over sunsets. No, we're talking TikTok remixes, Twitter memes, and a gif of her pointing dramatically at the barista that somehow ended up on international news. The caption that started it all: "When you order full-fat milk and they try to skinny shame you." At first, Karen was horrified. She paced her living room in leopard print slippers, coffee in hand, muttering, "Public enemy number one? Excuse me, I'm more like public advocate number one." But then she saw the fan edits. Someone had added slow-motion effects to her dramatic turn in the cafe. Another video had her speech remixed into a dance track called Undermilked, which was already trending on Spotify. She grinned. Well, if the crown fits. By noon, Karen had created her own Instagram account, Our Goldie Justice, complete with a bio that read, "Milk activist, drama enthusiast, meme icon." Her follower count exploded faster. Then you could say latte foam art. But fame is a double-shot espresso. It comes with a caffeine kick and a side of chaos. While half the internet adored her, the other half, not so much. People began dissecting the milk incident like it was the Zapruder film. Was she genuinely outraged or just performing? Did she even like milk? Or was this a ploy for attention? Karen didn't care. She was busy giving interviews on morning talk shows, leaning into the role of meme queen. On Good Morning Metro, she told the host, "I'm not just a woman who yelled about milk. I'm a symbol, a reminder that in a world of quiet compliance, sometimes you have to froth things up." It was pure chaos, exactly how she liked it. Still, her newfound fame had consequences. The cafe she'd liberated that fateful Tuesday flooded with customers reenacting her speech. The poor barista, now nicknamed Milk Boy and approached by strangers, asking him to autograph oat milk cartons. And then came the invitations. Reality TV offers, podcast appearances, even a questionable proposal to star in a show called Latte Wars. Karen knew she had a choice: fade back into anonymity, or fully embrace her destiny as a legendary, overly caffeinated public figure. She took one sip of her perfectly frothed cappuccino and made her decision. "Fine," she whispered to herself with a smirk. "Let's give them a sequel." The world had no idea what was coming next. It started with a flyer. Goldie Karen, now an internet celebrity with a caffeine-fueled ego, stepped outside one sunny afternoon to find a neon green notice taped to her mailbox. "Neighborhood Association meeting, mandatory attendance." Karen raised an eyebrow. "Mandatory? Please. I answer to no one except my mirror. And sometimes my hairdresser." Still, curiosity, and the possibility of free snacks, lured her in. That evening, She arrived at the community center in a tailored blazer, oversized sunglasses, and the aura of a woman who believed she was above HOA politics. The meeting was dull at first. Potholes, landscaping budgets, someone's ongoing war about mailbox paint colors. Karen sat in the back, sipping from her thermos of strategic caffeine and trying not to fall asleep. Then it happened. The HOA president, a thin man named Gerald with a tie so tight it looked like it was strangling him, cleared his throat. Next item on the agenda, public disturbances. Specifically the behavior of one Goldie Karen. Karen nearly choked on her coffee. "I'm sorry, what?" Gerald adjusted his glasses. "We've received multiple complaints. Loud, dramatic speeches in public spaces, blocking traffic for impromptu performances, and something about—" He squinted at his notes. "Shaming the mailman for delivering junk mail." "That was not shaming," Karen interrupted, standing. "That was a motivational speech. I was encouraging him to aim higher, deliver Vogue, not coupons." The room buzzed with murmurs. Some nodded in agreement. Others looked like they were ready to vote her out of the zip code. Gerald tried to continue, but Karen was already in full performance mode. She stepped forward, gesturing like she was delivering the final monologue of a courtroom drama. "My dear neighbors, is it a crime to care? Is it wrong to demand excellence from the world around us? Yes, I'm loud. Yes, I'm theatrical. But I do it for you. For all of us. Without people like me, we'd be living in silence, accepting skim milk and beige mailboxes without question." Half the room clapped. The other half pulled out their phones to record her latest speech. Gerald sighed. "Miss Karen, please sit down." "Sit down?" she scoffed. "Gerald, I stand for justice. And I stand against dull neighborhoods." By the time the meeting ended, nothing had been resolved. But one thing was certain. The HOA had just declared an unofficial war on Goldie Karen. And she was thrilled. The HOA thought they could outshine Goldie Karen. Big mistake. 2 weeks after the meeting, flyers went up for the annual neighborhood block party, complete with the smug promise, fun for the whole family. No drama this year. Karen read it aloud in her kitchen, eyebrows raised. No drama? That's like saying dinner, but no food. She knew it was a jab. The HOA wanted to keep her quiet, invisible, a side character in the very block she owned with her presence. Not on her watch. The day of the party, Karen arrived fashionably late, wearing a red jumpsuit that said main character energy. She carried a tray of cupcakes, each one iced with the words, "Free speech" in glittery frosting. The event started off wholesome enough. Kids bouncing in inflatable castles, neighbors chatting over hot dogs. Gerald, the HOA president, smugly emceeing from a microphone. Karen sipped her lemonade, watching, waiting. Her moment came when Gerald announced the pie-eating contest. "Step right up," he called. "Who will dethrone our reigning champion, Carl?" Karen's eyes narrowed. Carl, the reigning champ, was the same man who had shushed her at the last HOA meeting. This was fate. She stepped forward. "I'll challenge Carl." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Gerald tried to intervene. "Miss Karen, this is a family-friendly—" But she was already tying a napkin around her neck like a gladiator donning armor. The contest began. Carl dove in with machine-like efficiency. Karen, however, treated it like a televised showdown. She locked eyes with her opponent between bites, dramatically narrating her strategy to the crowd. "Notice how Carl is rushing. Predictable. Meanwhile, I pace myself, like a fine wine, or a scandal." The crowd was eating it up, figuratively, while Karen ate literally. By the final seconds, Carl was ahead, until Karen pulled a risky stunt. She grabbed the last pie and, without breaking eye contact, devoured it in one unbroken flurry of chaos. Flour in her hair, berry filling on her cheek, she stood, victorious. "And that, Gerald, is how you win hearts. And pies." The crowd erupted. Even some HOA loyalists laughed. But Gerald's smile was tight, his eyes narrowing. "Enjoy the win, Ms. Karen. The HOA hasn't forgotten, and neither have I." Karen smirked, licking blueberry from her finger. "Oh, Gerald, I'm counting on it." The war was no longer a simmer. It was a full boil. It was supposed to be a quiet Saturday. Goldie Karen was at home, sipping her cappuccino, basking in the glory of her pie-eating victory, when a letter slid under her door. No stamp, no envelope. Just a single sheet of paper with one sentence. "Final HOA hearing. Your removal from the neighborhood." She gasped so hard she almost inhaled foam. "Removal? Like I'm a bad refrigerator?" An hour later, she marched into the community center, heels clicking like a countdown to chaos. The place was packed. Neighbors, news crews, even random internet fans who'd driven in just to see the drama unfold live. Gerald sat at the head table, flanked by the HOA board, smug as ever. "Ms. Karen," he began. Due to repeated disruptions, Karen cut him off. striding to the front like a courtroom hero in the third act of a movie. Let's be honest, Gerald. This isn't about disruptions. This is about power. You don't like that I've got it, and you don't. Gasps. Someone dropped a pen. Gerald's tie seemed to tighten another inch. You've turned every neighborhood event into a spectacle. Karen spread her arms wide, soaking in the crowd's attention. You say spectacle like it's a bad thing. Look around, Gerald. When was the last time this many people showed up for an HOA meeting? I am the beating heart of this block. The crowd erupted, half cheering, half booing. Phones were out. Someone in the back started chanting, Karen! Karen! Gerald banged his gavel. Enough, we vote now! The board members raised their hands, and to Gerald's horror, the vote was split. It all came down to one final hand, Mrs. Henderson, the sweet but sharp-eyed grandmother who lived on the corner. She stood, cleared her throat, and said, I may not agree with everything Karen does, but this neighborhood hasn't been this exciting in 30 years. I vote she stays. The room exploded. Gerald's face fell. Karen, never one to waste a victory moment, whipped out a microphone from her handbag, because of course she carried one, and addressed the crowd. I will remain here, not as a troublemaker, but as a guardian, a custodian of community spirit, and maybe also as the undefeated pie champion. With that, she walked out into the sunset, or rather, into the golden glow of street lamps, waving to her adoring fans. Goldie Karen was not just still in the neighborhood, she was its legend. And somewhere, Gerald was plotting his next move. Ah, that's the full 5-chapter arc. Clean, funny, and packed with her over-the-top energy.